In early November 1938, residents of Halifax, West Yorkshire, England began reporting that an unknown assailant was attacking people in the streets. The attacker was described as a man armed with a razor or knife who slashed victims without warning and fled. The injuries reported included cuts to faces, hands, and arms. The attacks generated immediate and substantial newspaper coverage. Halifax was described in the national press as a town under siege. Residents were warned not to go out alone. The unknown attacker acquired a name, the Halifax Slasher. Local police appealed for information and were unable to identify any suspect. Scotland Yard was called in to assist. Detectives from London arrived in Halifax and began a formal investigation alongside local officers. Within days of Scotland Yard's arrival, the case collapsed. The victims began confessing. One by one, the individuals who had reported being attacked by the slasher came to police and admitted that they had inflicted their own wounds. The injuries had been self-inflicted. The attacker had not existed. The confessions came in quick succession. In total, the people who had reported being slashed admitted they had cut themselves or had arranged to have someone else cut them. Some of the injuries had been significant enough to require medical attention. The wounds were real. The attacker was not. The perpetrators of the hoax were charged and prosecuted. Several received prison sentences. Others were fined. The prosecutions drew further public attention to the episode. No single explanation emerged for why multiple people in Halifax had, apparently independently, decided to fabricate attacks by a non-existent assailant at the same time. One possibility raised by investigators and commentators was that the first false report had attracted enough sympathy and attention to prompt others to follow. Another was that social pressure, or fear of being seen as cowardly in a community gripped by a real perceived threat, had motivated some individuals. The specific motives of the individuals involved were not uniform. What prompted the original report that started the pattern has also not been definitively established. Whether the initial claim was made with the intention of fraud, for attention, or for some other reason is not documented in the available record. No genuine slasher was ever identified. The Halifax Slasher was, in its entirety, a collective fabrication. The episode is examined in studies of mass behavior and collective hysteria as a case in which fear and social reinforcement produced a cascade of false reports that drew national law enforcement resources to investigate a crime that had not occurred.